Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore Ravens game has been postponed. The game was supposed to take place this Thursday on Thanksgiving with the 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on NBC, and it is now going to be moved to Sunday. Now, the reason for this game being postponed or being pushed back has been because the Baltimore Ravens have had a lot of troubles and they've had a lot of problems with COVID-19. COVID-19 has hit the Baltimore Ravens pretty hard this week. They have had several cases of players being tested positive for COVID. Guys like J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram have both been tested positive for COVID-19. And it's been so bad to the point that the Ravens were planning on flying to Pittsburgh for this game on Thursday morning. That's how bad the COVID-19 virus has hit the Baltimore Ravens organization and this team this week. So with this game being postponed to Sunday, I don't really know what time this game is going to take place. Now, obviously, the NFL has been really hesitant to postpone games, especially this game, being that this was going to be the main draw, the biggest game being played on Thursday Night Football. This was going to be the game that once you got done watching the Detroit Lions take on the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Washington Football Team, this was going to be the game that everybody was going to be watching with their families once they got done eating their Thanksgiving meal. So I'm really disappointed that this game has been postponed. I was really looking forward to this game being played on Thanksgiving. And the Steelers always play in some really good classics against the Baltimore Ravens, especially when it's a big game like this that was going to be on Sunday night. Well, not on Sunday Night Football, but on NBC. Because remember the last time this game was played 1 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. And I was outraged because I felt like this game should have been played on Sunday Night Football. Instead, they wanted to have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football over the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Don't ask me why, but they did. So with this game being pushed back to Sunday, is this game going to have a 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff? Is it going to be played at 4:15 p.m.? Or is it going to be played on Sunday Night Football? Those are the questions that we don't really know about yet. But don't really know a lot of details, but there were a lot of guys for Baltimore who have tested positive for COVID-19. So with the Baltimore Ravens having an outbreak, the NFL had no choice but to postpone this game to Sunday. And the NFL, I'm pretty sure that they did not want to postpone this game. I'm pretty sure that they still wanted this game to go on. They still wanted to have this game played on Thanksgiving because this was going to be the biggest game on Thanksgiving being played on Thursday. So I'm disappointed. I was really looking forward to this game, and this game was really interesting. Okay, because you have the Baltimore Ravens who are coming into this game on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football, and they lost to the Tennessee Titans this past week in overtime. And you got the Pittsburgh Steelers who right now are 10-0 right now. They have the best record in the NFL. They are the only remaining undefeated team left. So with this game being pushed back to Sunday, how's this game being pushed back going to affect these teams' performances come Sunday when this game is played? Because you got Baltimore, they pretty much haven't been able to practice, which a lot of people may look at that as a negative for Baltimore, but I don't really look at it as a negative because when you look at teams who haven't had to practice due to COVID-19 outbreaks like Minnesota and Tennessee, they've came and they look pretty good. So I don't really think the Ravens not practicing is all that big of a deal like a lot of people are going to make it out to be, because there have been plenty of teams who have had games postponed because of COVID, who haven't been able to practice because of COVID-19 outbreaks, who have came and have had no problems. So you look at Big Ben, also against Cincinnati. He wasn't able to play for the whole entire week, and he was listed as a guy who was going to be able to play because he tested or had some kind of COVID-19 complication. So he went the whole entire week, the week Pittsburgh was supposed to play Cincinnati, without practicing. A lot of people were saying that the Bengals were going to pull off the upset in that game because they said, well, JT, Big Ben didn't practice all week. He's going to be a little bit rusty. Well, Big Ben comes out. It's confirmed that he was going to be able to play against Cincinnati. He comes out and he just has no problem destroying the Cincinnati Bengals defense despite not practicing all week. So the fact that a lot of people keep saying that the Ravens not practicing and having everything moved to virtual is going to affect them, I don't really think it's going to have that big of an impact that a lot of people are saying it. Now, does practicing have a little bit of, negative and positive effects? Yes, it does. If you practice, you're able to be a little bit more prepared for the game. But if you don't, I don't really think that it's the be it all factor for the Ravens determining if they're going to win this game or not. Because the Ravens lose this game, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be because they had to not practice. I think it's going to be because they may not just be able to beat the Steelers this year. The Steelers who win this game, it's not going to be because the Baltimore Ravens were not able to practice, because we've seen several teams this season be able to win games without going a whole entire week without practicing. Like the Tennessee Titans, I believe they beat the Buffalo Bills, a really good team, without practicing for the whole entire week. So you look at this game being postponed from Thursday to Sunday. What is going to be the implications? What time is this game going to be played? Where is this game going to be played at? Is it going to be played on CBS, NBC, Fox? Who knows? So this game has been postponed because Baltimore Ravens have had complications with COVID-19 all this week. They've had several players test positive for COVID-19. They actually issued a statement a couple of days ago letting their fans know that they have had COVID-19 implications. So this game was already brought into question a couple of days ago when J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram have both tested positive for COVID-19. But here's the good thing about this, okay? For Baltimore, for the players who have not tested positive, for the guys who were put on COVID-19 for contract tracing, for those of you guys who don't know, anytime there are players who are tested positive for COVID-19, the NFL has like these little wristbands or like Apple Watches, and it allows them to track the location of these players. So if there is a player who has contracted COVID-19 and tests positive, they're going to be able to see what players were near that player or who that player was around when they tested positive for COVID-19. And then that player ends up being put on the COVID-19/injury reserve list due to contract tracing. Now, if they are put on COVID-19/injury reserve list because of contact tracing, that means that if they're able to have 5 straight days of negative testing, that they're going to be able to play Sunday. So with this game being postponed, being moved from Thursday to Sunday, guys like Brandon Williams or anybody on this Ravens team who has not tested positive for COVID-19, but they were unable to play this Thursday because of contact tracing, they're going to have a good chance to play. So Brandon Williams, he was a guy who was put on that list not because he tested positive for COVID-19, but because of contact tracing. He was around the player in the proximity who tested positive for COVID-19. So with this game being moved to Sunday, Brandon Williams may have a chance to be able to play this week in this game against Pittsburgh. Now, there are a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers players and a lot of Baltimore players who are upset about this game being postponed. Obviously, Baltimore wasn't really nothing they could really do, but guys like Juju Smith-Schuster have spoke out on Twitter. They talk about Eric Ebron, how he's upset. You talk about Devlin Hodges, he's also upset as well. Chase Claypool. There are a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers players who are currently upset with this game being moved from Thursday to Sunday. But at the end of the day, the players can be mad, but this is for their safety. Like the Ravens, it wasn't really all that much they can do when a team has a COVID-19 outbreak. What do you want them to do? Now, Juju Smith-Schuster issued out a tweet, and I'm reading this live. He said that first, the NFL takes away our bye week because another team can't get their COVID situation together. Now they take away our Thanksgiving primetime game for the same reason. Shaking my head. So there are a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers players who are upset with this game being postponed from Thanksgiving to Sunday, and rightfully so, because listen, as a child, it is your childhood dream to play on Thanksgiving night in front of your family, your friends, for millions of Americans to watch. And with this game being postponed to Sunday, a lot of Steelers players are upset. And I understand why, because a lot of people were heavily anticipating this game being played on Thanksgiving. And now the NFL has a dilemma because now they don't have a primetime game. So what is going to happen with the earlier games? What game is going to be moved to that 8:20 p.m. Eastern time slot, if any? Because you have Dallas, who's going to be playing against the Washington football team on Fox. Do you move that game to NBC, or do you not move the game to NBC, but do you reschedule the game from 4:20 whatever to 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time? Or do you move that Houston Texans versus Detroit Lions game from that early kickoff time slot that they had to 8:20 p.m. Eastern time kickoff? So it is a lot of interesting scenarios of how this whole Pittsburgh Steelers versus Baltimore Ravens postponement can go. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section down below. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter and Instagram is linked down in the description down below. My Twitter and my Instagram is both JT Sports